Okay. Trying to make sure that all this is happening the way it's supposed to here. Let's jump over. Let's make sure that this thing is happening. Okay, yeah, I'm in there. All right, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of get this thing going. Um, Hi, I'm Jordan, and I run Blue Highlighted Text. I essentially wanted to create a live stream of me helping people with GA4 migration related stuff. So use the chat, feel free to use it. Let me know, and I can definitely help you guys out. There's quite a lot to cover. My biggest thing is figuring out how to make sure people get what they need. Um, Troubleshooting, that one costs. GA4 troubleshooting, let me think. Probably should be a little more tight with this, but we'll do this for now. There. So you can use that to book some one-on-one time, but essentially I'm kind of here to walk through the GA4 process and what it looks like from where I'm standing. Okay, so I have a couple of things to show you guys, specifically this test.com and a GA event. I'll just move this out to the side. And I think I'm going to do this one as well. This is a potential client, so let me set them there. Okay, so if we look at these two things, you're going to notice that I have Tag Manager and test.com, and it's hooked to this default um, situation. Let me switch accounts. Okay, and then my test.com is this. Okay, and then if I go here, tags, no tags, because I made these changes. Okay, so workspace changes is going to show that. Anyways, you probably don't care about all that. This is Google Tag Manager. This is Google Analytics 4. Um, Starting from scratch, really, it's not too hard to build a property. What I'm going to do is try to create a brand new account. And so if you go to analytics.google.com, you should come to a screen where you have a chance to create a brand new account. And if you just say test and then make some choices here, next, property name, test for live stream practice, and then got some other stuff. I don't want to create a universal analytics property. As you can see, the whole reason that we're here actually is July 1st, 2023. You're gone, you're done. It'll stop collecting data, which means anything new that happens on your site will not be tracked. So if you are relying on your current funnel setup as well as your current analytics to provide data to Google Ads or Facebook or any ad platform for that matter, any KPIs, so like marketing dashboards, anything like that, you're going to not have any information coming in after July 1st. So that means if you don't have a Google Analytics 4 property, you are going to see a big fat goose egg. Okay, so real quick, just want to do this, and let's say education. We have education. There it is. Jobs and education. Do it this way. And this is important. They're trying to set you up for success. GA4 is essentially built with the idea of machine learning at the core of it. Okay. And so, does that mean you need to generate leads or sales? Notice how those are primary reasons most people have a website in general, at least ones who spend money. Raise brand awareness. So just spread the word, examine user behavior, blah, 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 blah. So for me, I'm going to go here. I'm going to say I do some clients I generate leads with, some I drive sales with, and both of them I always want to examine user behavior to the extent that we adhere to privacy laws. Okay, so if I do this, I can just say test.com. I'm not going to really connect this, I don't think. Um, I turn on enhanced measurement. It's going to include all these things automatically, which is really nice. I know UA, you would have to specifically choose video engagement, additional things, interactions for forms, obviously, and also file downloads. Scrolls even as well. I believe outbound clicks are pretty standard on UA. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've used UA consistently. I consistently use GA4 now, and I have been for the past year and a half. So it's a little different. You can go manipulate each and every one of these in here. Um, I'm not going to touch this yet, but there's a certain setup that I like to use based on how I was taught. So. But for now, the idea is just to get this set up. Just get it set up. First things first. Okay. Now they want to say, how do you install your tag? I didn't even click that. I don't know why that happened. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I hit this accidentally. Yeah. So they are highly encouraging people to just go to your website builder and drop this code in. Um, Not really what we do. I like to use Google Tag Manager. And I'll just read this to you. For additional features, including multiple tag management and enterprise workflows, install and manage with Google Tag Manager. That doesn't sound very approachable. And one of the main things that I try to emphasize and push here at BHT is we are all about making data approachable because it is important, but it can be intimidating. And I want to make sure that you can at least start to approach using machine learning and the advantages that that brings. Um, Even this little blurb doesn't really do a whole lot for me. Okay, but it is time to install, or else you're going to get this every time you log in with the caution sign. You're not collecting data. It's not active for the site. And if you installed the tags more than 48 hours ago, you need to go make sure it's set up properly. If you're getting this, then something's wrong with your setup. I want to show you this. This isn't going to work for me inherently. So let me think. What website do I want to show you? Uh, ba, 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 ba. Okay, we'll just do it this way. Update, grab this. Now I have this. All I have to do at this point, as long as my code for GTM, so this you need to go drop where they said you might want to drop GA4. So GTM is essentially a container that can house any marketing code snippet. Well, any code snippet really, HTML code snippet. And in this situation, Google Tag Manager will allow you to drop a snippet for a container. In that container, you can put whatever you want to in it. For us, we're going to put GA4 into our GTM container. So you go to tags, click new, configure, GA4 configuration. Remember that ID that I snagged from here earlier? I'm gonna grab it and drop it here. If you want to get fancy, you can create a variable that comes in handy a little bit later. For now, I'm just going to paste it directly in here. This is for beginners. I just want to get you set up. We can tweak, make it better later. What I've learned about this process and about doing this in general is that it's kind of like tweaking a car for horsepower. Um, your job is to, obviously um, get it on the dyno and then tweak and change and manipulate until you get the exact performance out of it that you want, but you don't have to do it from right out the gate. That can come later. So GA4 config, can't type. That's how I like to set that up. All pages on the trigger. Okay, it's saying invalid input. What are they talking about? All right, let's try them one more time. That's one. Okay, cool. And then it fires on all pages. Simple. And then if I just click save at that point, like I just did, speed through this a little bit, it'll just give you this entire tag name. I like to remove that for the redundant issue there. So, okay, now I have this, and if this is connected to my website, then it will fire. Now, the problem here is that I don't have necessarily this guy connected to my website. But if I wanted to, I could drop it on there. This is my live site where the code is much different. And I really don't want you guys to see it. So let's do this. Instead, you're going to have to just trust that I know what I'm talking about. You'll see data start coming in right here. And it usually looks like, trying to be careful here, y'all. It will look I could drop the code into the other container. Something like this. Okay, so if I go to data collection here, oops, you can see, I'm sorry, data stream, you can see it here, and it's receiving traffic for the next 24 hours. Okay. Yeah. So that's there. So I just did that live, and showed you what we got going on there. And this is this. This was a test, but it is receiving traffic in the past 24 hours. If you were to set it up incorrectly, it'll say no data received in the past 24 hours, so, or 48 hours. So you want to make sure that's good to go. Okay, so once that's ready to go, pretty simple. I can go test.com. I removed a whole bunch. I added this configuration. And then I can start adding events. I can add Google Ads. I can add a conversion linker. This is really good. So this just allows you with, it's good with cross-domain tracking. It allows you to make sure that you send information. It's kind of like server-side tagging, but it's not as powerful and there's no enrichment real enrichment capabilities. Conversion linker allows you to make sure that you attribute correctly. So that's important whenever you're running paid, especially. Then you're going to notice that there are tons other tags. Everything you can think of, from Quora to LinkedIn's in here. Pretty sure there's a Snapchat. There's a lot of different stuff going on, and you can search for it there. You can jump over the community templates and find things here as well. And this is where you would find like the Snapchat thing and everything else I was talking about. So this is by Snapchat. So you'll have some stuff that's coming directly from the company. You'll have others that are coming from outfits that build templates for this type of stuff. Um, so yeah, the choice is yours on that. But it is kind of cool to just see how much is in here. I can go, yep, I got Facebook, I got TikTok right here. You can use everything. Just depends on what you want to do. So there's quite a lot that you can do inside of here. Okay, this is the last thing I'll cover for this first one. The events. So events that happen inside of, oops, GTM or GA4, I'm sorry, would look like this. You can create these events inside of um, GA4. You can also create them inside of GTM. So as you can see, these 1, 2, 3, 4 were actually created events that I made inside of GA4. If I wanted to create an event from scratch, I'm wondering why there's not a plus sign for me here. I might not have permission on my own property to do that. That's funny. All right, let's jump over to this. All right, so if I click create, I can then put anything I want to in here, and this can be an event that you're going to see inside of GA4 first. Uh, there's advantages, especially around parameters and what auto populates based on it happening inside of GA4 and then bouncing to GTM later. But there's also more control that happens whenever you create an event inside of GTM. So I'm not showing you all this in order to make you make that decision right out the gate. But the cool thing about GA4 is you can pull any of these standard events, but I can also put in anything custom, right? So that could be clicked on CTA. Snake case is kind of like the standard event naming convention here. So you can say the event is they clicked, and the I don't know, page location is blog. Uh, they're gonna make me do that. All right, so it's the blog. You can't just put the path there, which is kind of annoying. Unless you do, maybe you can do a page path. Let's see. So if I put page path, it might be available, but it's not standard here. So I can go like this. All right, cool. So I can still do it. That's great. And then lastly, I can say maybe a click ID. Let's look for click ID. There we go. Based on this, I can say the item ID. You can also do group ID, as you saw. That's really fun because I can start playing around with the content group. If there's and this is standard in GA4, if there's a section of your website that you want to make sure you can look at a report and say, all right, people who are on the about page um, went and submitted a form, or people from the about page clicked on contact us or whatever. Um, you can also do something as interesting as, hey, they're on the blog, the slash blog page path. So any blog that they went on, uh, and you can look at that as a whole and see what kind of events happen mostly there. Are they form submits? Are they clicks? Are they downloads of PDFs? Any of that stuff. So we can go file download, which is a standard event. You saw that whenever I was setting up GA4, and I can say true, or you can say false. So now, not only am I identifying something that happened, um, custom, to whatever I want to put there, but I can also make it so that in order to fire that event, this sequence of things has to be true. So all these things is true about that one event. It was a click, the page path was on slash blog, and the download, they downloaded um a PDF or whatever. And then you can copy over the parameters from the source event. This is essentially the source event. So that's nice as well. Okay. All right. So if I remove that and then I show you something else for illustration purposes, you can modify events, which is cool. So if I know that I have a form submit booked call, I know that they're going to form submit. But then I also want to pull information related to Calendly. So if I duplicate this, it's going to show me something that's kind of interesting. And that's this one, audience Calendly schedule. Okay, we know that they did it. Let's see if we have anything else. Hold on. Meeting scheduled, and I've got one person that went through Calendly and did that. It's kind of weird. Over the past 28 days. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. Probably so. I don't. Let me see if this is going to. Okay, here we go. And you can go and see different audiences, if they used a video ask, if they selected a time, a day, if they've seen the scheduling page. So there's a lot more people who've seen the scheduling page, it seems. And I can group people into audiences based on, how they're behaving, which is kind of cool. Invitee meeting scheduled. This is what I need to do. All right. So then this can also be true. So now I have both of these things happening, and this modification, the result is a parameter that gets modified. So the event name. So instead of when the event fires and you look in debug view, you're not going to see a form submit, and you're not going to see this part where it says that true. It's just going to count it as one thing. Those two actions combined, these two things being true, equals a form submitted booked call. So pretty cool. And obviously you can, you know, let your imagination run wild with what you could track inside of GA4 doing those things. Um, that's what I've got for today. And tomorrow I will do this again. I'll show you guys some of the reason that you would want to do this and how it's done. Okay. GA4 trigger wise, there's no limit how many triggers you can create or reasons you can create a trigger. I can go custom, which is one of my favorites. You can do it based on a timer, a trigger group, there's an error in JavaScript, we'll be able to see that. If there's a change in state, you can see that. And you can do any kind of change in state, or I can pick a very specific change in state based on these variables. So based on all these things, if there's a change in the URL path, if there's a change in the video, if it pauses, if it stops, if the status of it changes, right? So that's what it means with history change. Kind of cool. It really opens up quite a bit of what you can essentially choose to kind of tip over the domino, if you will. So loaded a window, we can make that happen, especially with a thank you page. Let's say boom, and then the page path, choose this, and I'm going to choose page, go here and see what all I got to choose from, page path, and let's say it contains thank you. If I click save, like I told you, it'll give you the automatic thank you page. And so now I have an event that's going to fire whenever that happens. And I can call this event thank you. It doesn't, obviously, people who are a little more used to GA4 are going to know that could be a form submit. It could be a probably more appropriate generate lead, which is a standard event. You can choose the configuration, or I could choose a different one. I could use a test configuration here if I wanted to, just so that this event isn't firing to where I'm capturing data live. If I wanted to send it to a test environment, I could. And there's even, opportunity to manipulate that further, which is really interesting whenever you get into um, the ability to use a lookup table here. So we could just here, and it would be a lookup table, and that lookup table can be based on show you, just showing you capabilities. I don't know why it didn't show up. That's weird. No, I'm investing. Here it is, this variable. So this could be based on, I could put random ID here, and then I can put a different ID here. If the input is staging.site.com, then I want that. If it's site.com, that, right? So staging is another way to just say, the testing site, whatever, test.site.com. It'll just depend if you have an infrastructure team, or if you are the infrastructure team, you might want to set these types of things up just to make sure that we can flick through this, depending on how this works. The input variable would be, I could just make it say lookup table. Anyways, I'm going too far. I'm doing way too much right now. It works. I got it set up on my client. I should be able to do it flat-footed and just right in front of you, but I messed that up. However, now you know what's possible, and that's what matters the most to me. I can just set up a GA4 event for generate lead based on whatever trigger I want. I can add parameters here. So you can put all kinds of things that are related to um, that particular action here, and also things that are related to the user. So user ID can go in right here. and this will be based on a data layer variable. That's what I like to do. All this is not set up yet. So that said, it's a bit messy, but you know, if you do want to see and you guys want to understand fully what I'm doing, you'll have to stick around. Because as I understand and what I've learned and being able to use the data layer and some other things and first party tracking, all this stuff, it all plays together, right? So if I want a user ID, I can pull it from the data layer. That's what DLV means, data layer variable. I've got it set up that way with a client of mine. Um, I can also set up other stuff related to um, the um, the actual action versus the actual client. So if I know what company they're from, I can probably pull that information in, and then it'll look like this. I'm not gonna build it right now, but I built this one so you saw me do that. Anyways, just a couple bonus minutes here. Want to make sure that you guys feel that you're getting a good introduction to this and what it's capable of, as well as how simple it is to get it set up. I already got the basics set up. It's in here. Um, you saw how I set up GA4 using GTM. It's not difficult at all. It takes 5 minutes. It'll take you 15 if you're brand new, maybe. But that's the very, very, very beginning, very tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to pull in um, and add and enrich data based on using GA4 and GTM together. So, anyways, I can talk forever about this. I won't. Thank you for coming and thank you for watching this. If this is your first time around, I'm going to continue doing these until I get the entire thing tight and built up. Um, I'm consulting. This is what I do for a living. I only consult. I don't teach a course. I don't teach people. I just build things, I rebuild things, I connect marketing data so that people can really understand where they're getting, paid from, and do more of that and less of the stuff that doesn't work. However, since this is such a large event for the entirety of everyone who's involved online, so all website owners are going to be facing this. Everybody who's got a site, and they, especially if you're running ads, you're going to have to deal with this in some way, shape, or form. I want to be here to try to help a little bit and at least point you in the right direction. You don't have to learn from me. I might not jive with you, whatever. It's fine. I can at least show you a resource, and that resource is this. This is the GA4 playbook. There's actually someone on it right now um, that has joined this quite a long time ago. But I've got information here regarding migrations. I got information regarding very specific things inside of GA4. Um, it's really a great tool, and I'm really, really proud of it. It helped me understand more about what GA4 has to offer. It's got all the support documentation here. And I've even got links to some YouTube videos regarding each topic that's touched on here. So you can go watch this Analytics Mania um, about funnel reports in Google Analytics 4 for free if you want to. You can go read a blog from Measure School regarding funnel exploration here. And this is all free. Or you can go take both of their courses, and taking their courses is not free, but I put a link to it because I own both courses, and I've been in this industry for about 4 years, and I've subscribed to Analytics Mania, Measure School, measurementmarketing.io.